So let's see those two things, how we might do them. Okay, well, let's redo what we've just seen, which is the party donations. So here is our data, and so we go to data this time rather than insert, and we go to summarize with pivot table, and it will pretty much have understood that anything with data in it needs to be included. And then it asks the same question, whether we want it in a new worksheet or the existing one. So we're going to say in a new one. And so here we are with roughly the same layout. Okay, although it's a little less intuitive. So I'm going to rename it as well. Pivot, I'm going to call it pivot 1. And it's the same idea. We're looking to put, for example, the party. So I'm going to drag this from here, which is a list of all the different fields we have, which is why it's a good idea to maybe throw out some of the columns you don't need before you get to this point. So we're going to drag this into rows. And you can see that we get the same idea as we've just seen in Google Sheets. If you want to remove the grand totals, it of course is different and more fiddly. You need to use the menu on top under Design, and then there's a drop down for grand totals, and you can say off for rows and columns. So that's so now they've disappeared. And so then the thing that interests us is the donation, which we're going to put into values. And it has decided that a sum is what we need. If you don't think the 35 pence and the 94 pence is helping, you can simply go to Format, Cells, Number, have some separators, have no decimal points, and I found those numbers easier to read. Now we have the issue of organizing things. Now, if you didn't get sum, for example, if for some reason you ended up with max, right? So we know the max, let me increase the zoom so it's a bit easier to see. There we go. So you know the max is 20,000 for the envelope, but you're not interested in the max, and so the way around this is this box for values. There's an I for information, and you can adjust and say, I don't want max, I want sum. And so then you get a sum, so that it's 14 million for the Labour Party, 15 million for the Tories. So we can go back and see if that lines up with 14 million for the Labour Party, 15 million. It's doing the same thing. So there you go. There's your pivot table in Excel. The only tricky thing is sorting it, which doesn't actually happen in the little editor box, but over, I believe, here in this drop down under your rows, and you need to tell it, I don't want it sorted by party, which is this column. I want it sorted by sum of donation. And so you can tell it here, sum of donation, and you can tell it ascending or descending. Let's have descending, which is always helpful. And there we go. And right, that leaves us with just the case of these. So again, it will be these. So this is the Irish provinces. We go insert. No, we don't. We go data. We go insert if it's Google. So summarize with pivot table, and it'll take everything. New worksheet. That's fine. I'm going to rename it. And then I'm going to tell it what I want in the rows, which will be the provinces into the rows. And then what I want it to count will be initially the counties. And so you can see it's the same business has started again. And then also you can add 2018 to get the other answer, and so on. And so that is a quick run through of how to get around pivot tables.